He wasn't just a pirate. He was a storm, a living legend who struck fear into the heart of every sailor from the Carolinas to the Caribbean. His name echoed across the seas like a curse, whispered in the dead of night by those who'd seen his black sails on the horizon. With a beard thick as tangled rope and eyes that burned like gunpowder, he was said to be possessed by the devil himself. They called him Blackbeard, and when his ship, Queen Anne's Revenge, came into view, it meant only one thing: chaos was coming. But who was the man behind the myth? Was he truly a monster, or just a master of psychological warfare? Tonight, we dive into the real story of Edward Teach, the ruthless genius who rewrote the laws of piracy. Stay with us, because this tale doesn't end on the deck of a ship. It ends in blood, betrayal, and a battle so violent it became legend. In the shadowy corners of 18th century England, a man was born whose very name would one day send shivers down the spines of hardened sailors. Edward Teach, though, some records say, Thatch emerged from the bustling port city of Bristol, a place thick with smoke, ship masts, and the smell of salt and iron. Little is known about his early years, and that mystery would serve him well in the years to come. What we do know is that he arrived in the Caribbean during the War of the Spanish Succession, fighting under the English crown as a privateer. But when the war ended, so too did the crown's need for mercenaries. Ships and guns still remained, but now they floated aimlessly, captained by men without a cause. It was in this chaos that Edward found his calling not as a soldier, but as a pirate. A man of intelligence and calculation, he studied the fears of men like maps and knew exactly how to sail them. He wasn't after gold alone, he was after terror itself, and he would become its master. By 1717, Edward Teach had transformed from a nameless rogue into a figure that haunted every merchant route across the Atlantic. But it was his encounter with a captured French slave ship that would define his legacy. He refitted the vessel, armed her with 40 cannons, and gave her a name that echoed with menace: Queen Anne's Revenge. With this monstrous ship beneath his feet, Blackbeard carved a path through the Caribbean and up the American coast like a thunderstorm. He didn't need to fire a single shot to win a battle. His image alone, tall, broad, with smoke curling from slow-burning fuses under his hat, was enough to send crews diving overboard in panic. He mastered the art of psychological warfare, turning the idea of Blackbeard into something greater than flesh and bone. He became a living myth, a nightmare sailing on black waves, leaving behind not only plundered ships but terrified survivors who would spread the legend further with trembling lips. In the age of fear, Blackbeard was king. While most pirates sought out quick riches and fleeting fame, Blackbeard had a different vision: dominion. In late 1717, he seized control of the harbor town of Charlestown, modern-day Charleston, South Carolina. With his fleet blockading the port, he brought the city to its knees without firing a single cannonball. Demanding a chest of medicine in exchange for the hostages he had taken, he proved once again that terror, not treasure, was his sharpest weapon. No fortress could protect against the legend he had built. By controlling trade routes, intimidating governors, and sailing where no sane man dared, he blurred the line between pirate and warlord. The crown took notice, and so did those who saw him as a threat to the fragile order of the colonies. Blackbeard wasn't just looting ships, he was challenging the empire itself, and that made him the most dangerous man on the Atlantic. For a moment it seemed as if no navy could stop him, until one man stepped forward to try. That man was Lieutenant Robert Maynard of the Royal Navy, a name that would forever be tied to the downfall of Blackbeard. In November of 1718, under direct orders from Virginia's Governor Alexander Spotswood, Maynard set sail with 2 sloops and a single mission: eliminate the pirate menace. By now, Blackbeard had settled into a quieter life on Ocracoke Island, off the coast of North Carolina, perhaps sensing the weight of his own legend pressing down on him. But the sea is not kind to legends, and the tide was about to turn. On the morning of November 22nd, the sun rose over the misty waters as Maynard's ships silently approached. Blackbeard, outnumbered and unaware, was finally cornered. What followed was not a graceful duel or cinematic showdown, but a brutal, chaotic melee. Smoke, screams, splinters, and blood filled the air as pirates and Navy sailors clashed on slick, blood-soaked decks. The fight would become one of the most infamous final stands in maritime history. As the smoke cleared and the screams died with the tide, What remained on the deck was carnage raw, visceral, and unforgettable. Blackbeard, though ambushed and outnumbered, had fought like a beast possessed. He took multiple bullets to the body and over 20 sword wounds before finally collapsing, defiant to his last breath. Some claimed he laughed as he fell, as if mocking death itself. But Lieutenant Maynard wasn't done. To send a message that would echo through the colonies, he ordered Blackbeard's head severed and hung from the bowsprit of his ship. The body was tossed into the sea, and legend says it swam around the boat 3 times before sinking, fueling the myth that Blackbeard was never truly mortal. The age of pirates didn't end with Blackbeard, but something did, the illusion of invincibility. He had become larger than life, and in death, he became eternal. Not just a pirate, but a specter, a symbol of rebellion and terror that still haunts the waves to this day. Centuries have passed since the waters of Ocracoke ran red, yet Blackbeard's shadow still lingers over the Atlantic. His story has been told and retold, painted in books, songs, and films, but the truth remains as turbulent as the sea itself. Was he a monster or a man who understood fear better than any admiral? Was his reign one of cruelty or cunning? The line between myth and reality blurred the moment he lit the fuses in his beard and stepped onto the deck of the Queen Anne's Revenge. To some, he was evil incarnate. To others, a rebel against corrupt empires. But one thing is certain. Blackbeard mastered the art of becoming unforgettable. Not by treasure, not by power, but by fear. In the end, he didn't need to survive to win. Because every time the ocean fog rolls in and a black flag rises in the distance, one question still chills the bone. Is Blackbeard truly gone? Or just waiting to return? If this story sent chills down your spine and made you see the ocean in a whole new way, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more legends that defy time and logic. What do you think? Was Blackbeard a villain, a visionary, or something far more terrifying? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you know someone who loves untold history, pirates, or dark legends from the past, share this video and help the myth sail even further. This is just one of many stories we'll bring to the surface, stories where truth and myth collide in the most unexpected ways. Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon, because history is full of ghosts, and some, like Blackbeard, never truly vanish.